Hi people, just a quick video. Just touching on something I saw recently that sort of saddened me a little bit. And it's just on the subject you'll see in the title about FM Fragrance World. Now, this is not a company that I know much about, but I know a little bit about them and just tell you why it saddened me. I saw a post from a friend of mine, girl I'd known probably 20 years, posting on Facebook about how she's now part of FM World and how she got all these great fragrances that smell exactly the same as branded fragrances like the ones you see before you. Obviously these are men's. It's heavily marketed to women's, but they do men's as well. It's not obviously these fragrances. FM World make dupes essentially. But it kind of saddened me that this girl's been caught up in this thing because essentially, from my understanding, it's a multi-level marketing scheme. So it's basically a get-rich-quick scheme. So it's a scheme where people are promised a dream. They're sold the idea of easy wealth, supplement their income, make the family wealthier with very little work without very little outlay. And that's how multi-level marketing schemes, often referred to pyramid schemes, work. They're not new. They've been around for various different disguises for years. And yeah, it kind of saddened me that this girl I've known for a long time has been caught up in this, and actually she thinks she's in, this great club, she's part of something. It's all fam dabby dozy. She's helping her family and friends get these great fragrances that smell exactly the same as designer fragrances for a fraction of the price. Now, my experience of FM World fragrances is that's not the case. I've not, because they don't sell in stores, I've not come across them massively, but I have smelt them. A couple of people at my work have had them in the past, and they're just your typical cheap dupes in the respect that, yeah, okay, they have a passing resemblance to the fragrances that they purport to be exactly like, and the sellers do say, oh, they're exactly like the designer fragrances. They're made from the same factories, using the same ingredients, blah blah blah. They just have to use numbers instead of the actual names for copyright purposes. So that's absolute hokum. They're not made in the same factories, they're made on the cheap, like most of the dupe fragrances that you can get in, you go to your local market, you can buy knockoff fragrances that smell similar to designer fragrances or even niche fragrances for 3-4 quid. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, people want to save a bit of money, they want to smell good, and there's nothing wrong with people joining up to schemes to make a little bit of money. Who doesn't want more money? But it just kind of saddens me that this kind of company does seem to market to a certain level of person. It markets to people who, I'm not going to use the word desperate, but certainly people who feel the need to supplement their income, go out and make essentially a quick and easy buck, and the reality I'm led to believe is very different. Now, I'm not going to criticise the company in this case. I'm not going to call it a scam and all this. I know there's other YouTubers and there's other sites where you'll see that. They're making a product, they're getting people to sell that product for them, and they're giving them some of the commission back, or they're giving them a cut of that sale value. So in face value there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think the whole way that it's done and who they market it to, I think is wrong. That they're preying to an extent on people's vulnerabilities, selling them a dream that will never really be realised, and in reality the people buying the products as well, they're not getting this top-notch quality product that they're being promised. They're getting a cheap copy at 20 quid, which, I mean, you can buy a decent designer fragrance if you shop around for not much more than that. So, it's not a great use of someone's hard-earned cash, and certainly those that sell it and distribute it doesn't seem to be a great use of their time and effort, really, either. Now, as I say, multi-level marketing schemes have been around for a long time, so I'm not going to give you the ins and outs of how they work. Although there is a great show made by Penn and Teller, the magicians, on this a few years ago. It's part of a show that used to be on Showtime in the US called Bullshit. So it gives you the idea of how these work. Companies such as this, but also companies like Herbalife was one of the big ones, probably a decade or so ago. They recruit people, give them this idea that they can go out into the world, they can sell this product, they can make some fantastic money, change their lifestyle. It's all great. They can go from, the one I saw was about this one was, it gives a story of, say, a nurse. Now she'd gone from being a nurse to earning £6,000 a month just by selling these fragrances, and I think that's debatable at best down to outright unbelievable, because it's probably not true. Of course, some people will put a lot of effort into this game, some people will make a little bit of money, and if people do it for a bit of fun and a bit of a side hustle, then, you know, more power to them. But I think in this case, like I say, I saw somebody posting on Facebook that I've known for a long time, and it did kind of sadden me that they've been sucked into this world of thinking that they're getting this great product that they can help their family and friends with, and the reality is just very, very different. I know there's more to it than that. It's a layered scheme. These multi-level marketing schemes are multi-leveled. It involves not only selling these buying and selling the products, often for little or no profit when postage and packaging and cost and things of that nature are counted in, but also there's a process of recruiting people and building networks and having what they call downstreams, which just goes into your typical pyramid selling area. Now, one thing I do understand about this venture is there isn't an exact outlay or initial buy-in. A lot of multi-level market schemes involve people buying into a scheme, putting money up front, and then with the idea that they can quickly turn a profit, and often that's not the case and they just lose the money. I think the risk of a scheme like this is much lower, but that's not to say it's without risk, because from what I've heard, some people don't necessarily make any real profit when they take the postage packaging costs into account, and also it involves the work of badgering friends and family, which puts a risk in terms of hindering friendships, hurting relationships, etc. And let's be honest, you know, FM fragrances is not something that people are going to buy from you consistently. People don't buy perfumes and aftershaves and colognes constantly. I mean, research has been done to show that they're generally only bought in the run-up to big holidays. So for people like me who will go into stores or online and will buy them year in, year round because it's what we're into, fair enough, but we're few and far between. If you're a frag head watching this, you are part of a very small minority of people. The majority of people will only buy them for gifts in the run-up to, say, Christmas, Valentine's, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc. So the market for these kind of products is small, and you're talking an even smaller market because you're selling something that's lower quality, lower cost, without the marketing, without the quality packaging, without all the razzmatazz that goes with the fragrance you see before. You know, your Armanis, your Dior's, etc. They know what they're doing. They've been in this for a long time. They're big business. People are selling these selling a small time product, often with very long wait times for these products to even be delivered. The point of comparison is not really the same. Now, like I say, nothing against people wanting to buy dupe fragrances, to buy fragrances that smell very similar to those expensive ones. You know, I've bought quite a few clones, as we call them, over the years, and they're enjoyable in their own right. But when it comes down to brass tacks, we know they don't stack up to the ones that they're copying off. They don't have to even necessarily be marketed. You can get good clones from companies like Armaf. They're actually good quality, and they don't go through all this multi-level marketing palaver that brands like FM are doing, where they're selling these women. It's generally women that are doing this, selling this idea of this lifestyle, being part of this greater community, this sisterhood, where they can all, you know, work together to get these fragrances, but also, when the bottom line comes down to it, make easy money. And the reality, my understanding, is very, very different to that. Obviously, the girl I've mentioned, I've known her for decades. Best of luck to her. She does seem to have gone at it with a great deal of gusto. Normally online, she probably posts. I did a bit of research before this, so I've noticed that she posts online a couple of times a week, generally speaking, but now she's part of this FM world community. She's posting dozens of posts every day. I'm talking 10, 15 posts around this every single day, doing all kind of raffle, promising people free gifts and all this sort of stuff. And I just think that in a long enough time scale, she's just going to end up embarrassing herself. But I'll say, fair play to her. Can't knock her for trying. Can't knock the business really for finding a gap in the market where they can get an army of workers that they don't have to really pay any money to. It's just pure profit. They just sell products for them to sell on, and there'd be a margin. So fair enough for that, but obviously there's levels to it that I don't really agree with. The whole recruiting, the whole cult-like element of this, that's part and parcel of every multi-level marketing pyramid scheme, etc. That doesn't sit well with me. It wouldn't make me want to buy any of their fragrances because I know what this system is. I've seen it so many times. You know, and that's really that. So yeah, I'm a little bit saddened by what I've seen with this girl, that she's been sucked into this process, but hopefully it works out well for her. I can't see it though. I'm not optimistic in that respect, but we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, that's my 2 for now on this issue. So a bit of a side topic, going off a bit of a tangent, just covering something I've seen really, not really going into any of these fragrances that you see before you, all of which I've probably reviewed on my channel at some point over the past 5 or 6 years that I've been making these kind of videos on YouTube, although they are somewhat sporadic. I probably only make about 4 or 5 videos a year these days, just because who really has the time? But anyway, if you have taken your time to watch this video, that is very much appreciated. If you're thinking about signing up to one of these schemes, it's not really for me to put you off. That is ultimately your decision to make. But I think if you are going to enter one of these schemes like FM World, it's just going to be a case really of doing your research, accepting what you're getting into, understanding what you're getting into, and not buying into the hype of a quick and easy book where you're going to go from, you know, a minimum outlay to driving Ferraris and Porsches and having this fabulous lifestyle, because that is just selling you a dream that won't come true. Okay, thank you.